Madagascar is an island off the southeast coast of Africa. In 2007, my friend Kathy Lucking went to Madagascar to volunteer at an orphanage. And while she was there, she saw a lot of children who were not in school because their parents were too poor to afford the education. And for Kathy, that really bothered her. And when she came back to Canada, she said to me, "Joss, I think I might want to start a school in Madagascar." And I said, "Kathy, if you do that, I think I might want to help you." And so the Madagascar School Project was created, and little did I know at the time, I was about to embark on one of my life's most fulfilling experiences. So today, what I will be talking about is the pursuit of progress at the Madagascar School. I'm also going to share with you what I've learned and segue it into what's in it for you. So ladies and gentlemen in the audience, here at the TEDx event at Ashbury College in beautiful Ottawa, and of course the internet audience at home, I think the best place for me to start my tale is at the beginning. And the beginning starts with a hope and a prayer. We had already built our first school in Madagascar when we were approached by Monsieur Charles, and he was the president of a neighboring township. He asked Kathy if perhaps the Madagascar School Project might be willing to give him a few $1,000s. With that money, he had planned to go out and buy the necessary materials so that he and the villagers could go and build a school for their some 200 children. Well, we were able to answer his prayers in a way that just blew his mind. Instead of a few $1,000s, to date we've invested close to $1 million at the site. And you may be interested in knowing that 99% of all the proceeds from fundraising events go directly to the school, directly to those who need it most. Instead of one building, we now have 15 and counting. There are 60 staff, and instead of 200 children, we have 630, and more to come. Look at these happy kids! Parents are just beating down our doors to get their children into our school, and that's creating some problems. We don't want to be snatching children away from the catchment zones of other schools. Why? Because it's not good for neighborly relations, huh? Also, it creates interesting dilemmas. The mandate of the Madagascar School Project is to take the poorest of the poor. If you're a parent and you can't afford the education, don't worry about it. We'll find a way around it. However, now, with 630 children, we're busting at the seams. So who do we take? Do we take the children of the blind man? Or do we take the widow's 4 children? It's progress, but sometimes progress has its own problems. Of course, a school is just not a structure of bricks and mortar. It's a haven of learning. And the key to a top quality education is to have top-notch teachers. Teachers who are just crack-a-lackin'. And so we spend a lot of time and energy in teacher training. Initially, all instruction at the school was through rote. The teachers would write something on the board, the children would memorize it, but they weren't learning the concepts behind things. So we've been experimenting with a lot of different teaching styles, and the style that seems to work best is Waldorf. And maybe that's because it complements the Malagasy culture. For those of you who don't know what Waldorf is, it's just the type of alternative schooling where there's a lot of emphasis on the arts, and Waldorf grads tend to be very civic-minded. They're connected to their community, they're proud of their culture. And, of course, they're environmentalists too. And when you consider Madagascar, all the problems with deforestation and political instability, the qualities of Waldorf grads are really something that we want to instill in our children, because one day they're going to be the future leaders. The teachers are loving the training, and they've been especially surprised by the change in the children. In Madagascar, you see, children are kind of marginalized, and as a result, they kind of see the teachers as very strict, authoritarian figures. However, now, since the teachers have been implementing their Waldorf training, the children see the teachers as loving, caring, actual humans who are willing to sit down and listen to the children's woes and to celebrate their triumphs. That's progress, but maybe there's a few of you in here who don't think it's progress enough. You want a more concrete example, so let me give it to you. At the end of the last Malagasy school year in July, our grade 6s and our grade 9s wrote the state exam. And they earned a collective score of 85%. So if an A is not progress enough for you, I don't know what is. I'm especially proud of the feeding program at our school. In Madagascar, people die of starvation, but we're doing something about it. Since the beginning, we have been giving our children a lunch. And this is really important because for a lot of these children, they don't get enough or any food at home. And for some of them, they have to walk an hour to school and an hour home afterwards. Despite getting the lunch, for some, it's not enough. The state doctor has identified 50 of our children who are still severely malnourished. So for these little ones, in the morning, we give them a piece of fruit and some porridge. We're also targeting children before they even are old enough to come to school. We have a feeding program for the village toddlers. We give them a very high-protein pablum so that they might better develop both mentally and physically before they come to school. Now I ask you all to take a moment and put yourself in the shoes of that mother right there. Imagine the relief she must feel knowing that this year, if she should happen to run out of her stores of rice, her baby is not going to die of starvation because she knows there's a safety net in place to catch her child. Is that not progress? Of course, children have a different idea of what constitutes progress. We have the only play structure for miles around. For a child, progress is simply a ride on the slide. We won 100 computers from the charity One Laptop Per Child. The teachers think, oh, this is fabulous. We have computers, we have internet access, we can better do our lesson plans. The children think, oh, this is fabulous. We have computers, we can do video games. That's progress for a child. My own son agrees with that. All our children receive medical health coverage. Medical health coverage. But this little boy right here, whose name is Richard, was not one of our children. Richard had a tooth that was extracted and a cyst formed in the socket. The cyst grew and grew and started to erode away the bone in his skull, and it was making its way into the orbit of his eye. And it was just a matter of time before Richard was going to go blind. Fortunately for Richard, we were able to coordinate with a bunch of different individuals and groups to be able to provide Richard with medical intervention. This child's life has been changed. For him, for this little one, progress is simply being able to smile, to laugh and talk, to eat properly, and to live without pain. So these are just a few of the amazing successes that we've been having at the school. I don't have time to talk to you about the progress that's being made with sustainability, nor tell you how the parents are taking ownership of the school. So just trust me when I tell you, many awesome things are happening there. When I look at all the awesomeness, and when I look at my participation in it all, I realize a couple of things. The first thing I realize, I might not be able to change the world, but I can change the world of one person. The second thing I've realized is something I like to call the rule of exponential power. When I look at the effort that I've put into the school, it's been relatively easy. However, that effort has been magnified exponentially in the lives of other people. And when I think about the school, I see the school as an example of many people coming together to put in just a little wee bit of effort, and that effort is magnified exponentially in the life of 630 children and 60 staff and the community. So then, that gets me to thinking, and it gives me an idea worth spreading. What if you and you and you and everybody here, a critical mass of people, started to practice the rule of exponential power? We could change the world. We could change it for the better. The potential is unlimited, absolutely unlimited. So my friends, I promise to tell you what's in it for you. And what's in it for you is a challenge. Let empathy be a practice. Put yourself in the shoes of somebody who is more vulnerable. But don't stop there. Take action. Make that first step. Make empathy and action a lifestyle. If you do that, and I do that, and a critical mass of people do that, together we will pursue progress. And together we can make this world a better place. Ladies and gentlemen,